As I have discussed in earlier videos, perceiving can involve any or all of your senses. The physical senses of hearing, looking, smelling, touching are processed by the brain into listening and seeing, etc. A new discovery, for example, could result in looking at what others are looking at, but then seeing something more, something different, something brand new. Or hearing the sounds that others are hearing but then interpreting them into some additional understanding. I created the term observational intelligence to represent one's ability to perceive without bias, the filtering of input, or the outright blocking of reality. Our children learn bias, filtering, and blocking from their experiences as they interact with their environmental surroundings as they grow up. We teach and tell them about all of the things that they will not be able to do because we cannot do them ourselves. We tell them about all of the things that are impossible because of our limited understanding. We teach them why we shouldn't like some other race or religion because we don't. We constrain them into various paradigm boxes that we create that define the current limits of social and intellectual behavioral boundaries for them. Lord Kelvin, chair of the most famous British Royal Society, said in 1895 that heavier than air flight was impossible. Fortunately, the Wright brothers didn't know that, and so they went on to invent the airplane. History is full of the experts who said something was impossible and then were proven wrong. Even the first director of the American Patent Office in the 1870s said that the function would not exist for much longer, as everything that could be invented had already been invented, and that nothing new was possible. Who and why would we appoint such a discouraging individual to a position that should have been reserved for a champion of the discovery process? It is no wonder that Pablo Picasso and Albert Einstein both emphasized the need to retain one's childlike curiosity. You have heard of the terms unconscious incompetence and conscious incompetence. The first one meaning that you are unaware that you are incompetent, and the second one means that you know that you are, and that you don't know as much as you thought. In the second of these lies the possibility of improvement. If one can become aware of the fact that their observational intelligence capabilities may be compromised, then it may be possible for them to identify and deal with any bias, filtering effects, or denial. In order to fix something, you need to recognize that it's broken. Then you can have the opportunity to repair or improve it. Otherwise, the expression "if it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it" will govern your life. One must have an open mind free from bias, filtering, or denial. Insatiable curiosity drives imagination, which in turn drives creativity. The implementation of creativity is innovation. The world is looking for valuable innovations. The world is looking for new ways to be better, and not another way to get the same result. The world is designing robots to do the repetitive work once done by employees whose only goal is to do tomorrow exactly what they are doing today and did yesterday. These people will find an uncertain future awaits them. If one is constrained by the thought that nothing can be done better, then that will become the reality. One must adopt the champion's creed that believes that if you think that you can do it, then you will be able to do it. This is a necessary condition for success, but the sufficient conditions include having excellent skills and excellent observational intelligence. Excellent skills are obtained through deliberate practice. In the same way, excellent observational intelligence is reacquired by deliberate practice. Shedding the negative baggage of bias, filtering, and the blocking or denial takes practice. It is not unrelated the many great discoveries were made by individuals who were somewhat isolated from the societal bias of those around them as they grew up. They were left to themselves to become curious and imaginative without constraints. Their observational intelligence was able to grow such that they were able to discover what others could not. Albert Einstein was renowned for his thought experiments in which he visualized in his mind the details of the subject of his inquiry. It is well known that mankind is a visually based learner. To develop a high observational intelligence, one must be a developed visual learner. This is why so much emphasis is placed on the mental process of seeing, also referred to as visualization. On the internet, there are numerous websites that display a series of pictures, 2 at a time, side by side, with 3 slight differences between them that one needs to discover. They rate the difficulty by saying only a genius or person with an IQ of 130 or more can solve them. In actual fact, this is not a measure of the traditional IQ, but rather a measure of observational intelligence. That is the looking at the 2 side-by-side pictures, but then seeing the differences. This involves thinking, which transforms looking into seeing the differences. These are good exercises to develop the observational intelligence component associated with the transformation of looking into seeing. You can regain or increase your observational intelligence by the deliberate effort to expose the personal biases that you have placed into your experiential baggage collection over the years. One way is to fully experience the minds of others who have different baggage. Experiencing the differences will highlight your own baggage, clearing a path to achieving increased observational intelligence. This explains the power of group discovery. A group of people with different backgrounds and baggage working together can highlight the baggage of bias, filtering, and blocking, and as a group seek to neutralize the negative aspects. Always listen to the divergent opinion, as that may uncover your perceptual shortcomings, thus allowing you to maximize your observational intelligence. You must be able to acquire the understanding that you are functioning in a state where bias, filtering, and blocking are impeding your ability to discover. Whether it's scientific, societal, or other area of discovery, you must have the attitude that most everything is broken, and you are not just going to fix it, but that you are going to vastly improve it. So how does one expose their personal perceptions and how they differ from reality? You can only do that by asking yourself the right questions. If perception is reality, then how has your environment shaped all the stuff in your head that you know to be true, that, as the famous expression says, that just ain't so? There are 2 ways that this could happen. The first is that through serendipitous isolation, that the bias, filtering, and blocking was never placed in your brain. Many great scientists and philosophers such as Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton were isolated in that way during their youth. The second is how to purge it from your brain. This can only happen if you wish to become aware. It is going to require self-reflection. You are going to have to start with the belief that anything is possible. You will need to start with the end in mind, believing that any goal is possible, and any current truth can be challenged. You have to be able to accept that your current understanding and beliefs may not be true. Again, all the stuff in your head that you know to be true that just ain't so. You have to be able to truly listen. Follow the guidance that says seek to understand rather than be understood. Then, armed with understanding of the limitations of your personal biases and other perceptual deficiencies, you will have the opportunity to discover. You must carry out deliberate practice to increase your visualization skills. You must learn to create a visual model in your brain that reflects the problem that you are attempting to solve. You visualize in the conscious part of your brain, and then while you rest, your subconscious solves the problem and passes the answer up to your conscious mind. A high observational intelligence coupled with a deliberately developed set of technical skills will allow you to be all that you can be. Eliminate those perceptual shortcomings and develop those superior skills. Every journey begins with the first step, so take yours now.